Good afternoon. I was going to say good evening. Not sure whether I'm coming or going at the moment. I am back. I have been taking a very well-deserved break over the last few weeks. So my apologies for not being as present here as I have been in recent times. But do you know what? It only occurred to me. I knew I was going to talk about self-care today, and I've just been in the park with my girls, and I was thinking, gosh, it's I haven't been around. I haven't been around doing the things that I usually do, and then I realised, yes, that's because you've been looking after yourself, Pascal. And the thing with self-care, right? I've just been doing a slightly longer session over in the Happy and Fulfilled group. So if you're not over in the Happy and Fulfilled group, do please come along. I do a live session in there now every Thursday now. It has been on Mondays. I'm now moving it to Thursdays. But thinking about self-care, why is it that we feel guilty when we practice self-care? Why is it, this is particularly for the mums, if I may be so bold, or women, but why is it that we feel so guilty when we practice self-care? What is that about? And I'm guilty of that too, right? It's taken me a long time to be okay with looking after myself and accepting that I'm not being selfish for looking after myself. And there are several layers to this. There are several layers to this. The first part is, what is self-care, and what does it mean to you, and how do you practice it? We're going to come back to that in just a minute. But the most important part of it that really resonates with me and really resonates with so many of my clients is an expression that you would have heard me say a million times, and that is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's as simple as that. When we are not looking after ourselves, when we are not filling up our cup, when we are not recharging our batteries, however it is we choose to do that, we are not able to do the things that we really want to do well. Now, for me personally, there are two/three things that means, right? The most important thing to me is that I I care for my loved ones, right? My children, essentially, and my husband. When I am not looking after myself, when my batteries are low, when my reserves are low, my resilience is low, my fuse is short. So I know that when I am not looking after myself, I am not doing the most important thing to me to my best ability, and that is looking after my children, and being the patient mummy that I want to be and the patient wife that I want to be. And that's the most important thing to me. The second most important thing to me is doing my job. Because I absolutely love my job. I absolutely love my job so much. And when I'm not looking after myself, I'm not doing my job with the full energy. And then my clients don't get the best out of me because I'm knackered. So, wrongly or rightly, I I've I've learnt to give myself permission to look after myself, because I know that in looking after myself, I look after everybody else around me so much better. And like I said, like, wrongly or rightly, it doesn't really make much difference. I give myself permission to do the things that I want to do to look after myself in order to look after the people that I care for better. So, what is self care? What does self care mean to you, and how do you do it? We've all got a different definition of what self care is, and it means different things to different people. Self care could be going to bed early. So, there are different categories that self care comes under. We have we have emotional well being. Emotional well-being would be um, eating well. That come under emotional well-being? That's physical well-being. Or maybe I'm going to get my titles muddled up. So we've got physical well-being like eating well, exercising, um, not drinking too much alcohol, making sure uh, that you are caring for your body. Okay, fairly obvious. Pampering yourself, looking after yourself, having a hot bath, going for a massage, getting your nails done, having a facial, whatever that comes under. Um, uh, well, I don't know what title that comes under, but that's a really obvious examples of self-care to me. Then you've got emotional self-care, and emotional self-care is really important as well. Having really good boundaries, knowing when to say no to things that you don't want to do, being able to look after yourself by keeping your space good. Spirituality, gratitude, having a good gratitude journal, practicing gratitude daily, meditating. All of these things are really excellent examples of self care. And then having a good routine is a really important example of self-care, because then we are being proactive and we are not being reactive. So when we are being reactive to situations, we're kind of running in chaos. I was talking in the group earlier about, the school run, and actually how important it is to me to make sure that I've got everything ready for the morning the night before, because otherwise the house is just chaotic in the morning, and I hate that. Making sure that you've got a good bedtime routine for your children, if that's a time of the day that you find difficult, whatever it is. But whatever your idea of self-care is, make sure that is in your routine. Make sure it's in your diary. Good self-care is non-negotiable. It shouldn't be something that you have to wrangle with. It shouldn't be something that you do if you have time to do it. Making sure that you have a good self care routine is absolutely important for you and for those around you. So, if you need to give yourself permission to practice good self care by saying it's for the benefit of others, then put it down in your diary, for the benefit of everybody else as well as for the benefit of you, and give yourself permission to do it, because there is nothing indulgent about self care. It is not selfish, and it is an absolute necessity. Uh, Come on over to the Happy and Fulfilled group if you're not there already. Would love to see you there. I will catch up with you guys. I'm completely out of sync with the days of the week. But I will catch up with you guys next week. I'm going to be back in the game next week, showing up in here regularly, doing my thing regularly. Like I said, I've just been looking after myself over August, and just kind of like, I haven't down tooled, but I've just kind of like eased off the accelerator a little bit, just to kind of preserve my energy. But yeah, back in the game next week. So have a lovely rest of week. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch up with you guys soon. Okay, take care.